7:08 p.m. The meeting is called to order. Mr. Clerk, please do roll call for us.
Mayor
Mr.
Joseph,
Here?
Councilman Galvin,
Not yet.
Councilwoman Keys, Councilman Bieneme,
Turn your microphone on or speak a little bit louder.
Councilman Bieneme,
Here.
Vice Mayor Desume,
Here.
Councilman Galvin.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Let's proceed with the North Miami Police Department Officer Oswald Salien to lead us in Pledge of Allegiance, please. Let's stand up.
We're going to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is invocation. We're going to call Pastor Cheryl Sejour from Gateway Foursquare Church, who will lead us in invocation.
Good evening, Mayor Smith-Joseph, members of the council, city manager, and staff. Let us bow our heads. Heavenly Father, great God of heaven and earth, we just come before you tonight, and we just thank you that you deeply are concerned and care and love the people of the city of North Miami, the city of progress. We just ask you, Lord, that we invoke your presence in this council chamber tonight, that you would hover over us with your wisdom, the wisdom that comes from above, that is pure and peace-loving, that is considerate and submissive and full of mercy and impartial and sincere. We invite your wisdom to be upon every decision that is made in this council room tonight, in the mighty name above all names. Amen.
Amen. Normally, our regular meeting would be held tomorrow, second Tuesday, as provided in our charter each month. But as you all know, tomorrow is election day, so we deferred from having meeting tomorrow and have it today instead. So at this point of time, Mr. Manager, we will ask you if there is any addition, deletions, or amendment to the agenda. Please do so now.
Yes, sir. I'd like to withdraw tab D. We'll be moving to the next agenda. And I'd like to switch the order tab F before tab E.
Okay. That's it?
Those are all the changes, sir.
So, Mr. Attorney, is it my understanding that the agenda is now set?
Yes, Mayor, the agenda is now set.
Okay. At this point of time, I believe we have a few presentations. So at this time, quickly we will go down, and the whole city council will go down so we can make those two presentations.
Which tab is being removed?
It's pretty short, so this special presentation is a certificate of recognition. Actually, it's a proclamation. This is a proclamation. This month in North Miami, we celebrate Epilepsy Awareness Month. And we are pretty much grateful for the wonderful work that the Epilepsy Foundation is doing. Thousands, I should say millions of people in this country and worldwide are suffering from epileptic seizures. So the foundation has been doing a wonderful job in the city of North Miami. As a matter of fact, one of ours, Katia Filippo, our constituent aid coordinator, she reached out to them so that during this month because she wants to bring awareness to the disease in honor of her brother. I should say her late brother a few years ago who passed away from epileptic seizures. So receiving this award on behalf of the Epileptic Foundation, Cara Igozi, CEO, and Mary Gomez and Ilana Bitong. Ainsi c'est dit, c'est non? Ilana Bitong. See, I'm not too bad, huh? So at this time, we'll call you to come please forward and receive the certificate.
Good evening. My name is Ilana Bitone. I'm the Director of Marketing for the Epilepsy Foundation of Florida. On behalf of the foundation, we thank you for honoring National November Epilepsy Awareness Month and our 45th year anniversary. Since 1971, the foundation has been leading the fight to overcome the challenges of living with epilepsy, accelerate therapies to stop seizures, find cures, and save lives. There are over 400,000 individuals living with epilepsy in the state of Florida alone, and 1 in 26 individuals in the United States will develop epilepsy at some point in their lifetime. We thank you for your support of the important work and services that we provide to the community and hope that you can join us in celebrating the great strides we've made these last 45 years and hope to continue to make. Thank you.
Okay, the next presentation is from the city, is from city staff. But was it last week or 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, I went to the MPO meeting, and as you know, MPO has to do with transportation, roads, transit, and so forth. So I did collaboration with Public Works, and especially Mr. John O'Brien. He's always there, of course, under the supervision of the Public Works Director. We presented an item to the MPO where we asked that actually the work is going to be done by FDOT, right? FDOT, Florida Department of Transportation. And we did ask them to look, there is a huge project of what we call complete streets, where they repair streets, streetscapes, medians, and all in an effort of walkability, resiliency of cities, bike lanes, because there is a big wave, well, not just nationwide, worldwide, I should say. We are actually a little bit behind in what you call walkability and complete street in North Miami. So with that, I presented the item and with a lot of statistical data, and they agree unanimously. We voted. All the members of the MPO boards agree that 135th Street from 6th Avenue Northwest all the way down to Biscayne Boulevard is now on the list of complete street projects, and within the next, now it's not going to incumbent upon us to really push it, put the pressure to, I would like to see it done within a year or so. Or two? 2 or 3. 2 or 3? Well, at least it will be done because it is now on the list. So without any further ado, I'm going to ask Mr. O'Brien or Mr. Whistler, I don't know which one of you is going to come forward to present, to do a brief presentation of 135th Street project that we presented to the MPO board. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Mayor already covered just about everything. But I will, I do want to say that the importance of having his leadership at the MPO. He sits on the MPO board, but, he doesn't have to be active, but he's very active, and he's been looking for projects, and this was one of the ones that he had a vision for. And so we presented it to the MPO board, and as part of FDOT's 5-year plan, they're going to include these complete streets items for 135th Street. Can I do the presentation? Oh, there we go. All right, so just real quick, just a couple of slides here. This is just existing conditions. I think we're all familiar with 135th Street. Not exactly the most beautiful, inviting place to walk. And specifically, one of the things that we were concerned about are what's called the double left turn lanes, which are sometimes called suicide lanes, which are very, very dangerous. And there is not, if I'm not mistaken, there's not a single median on 135th, at least from Northwest 2nd Avenue all the way to Biscayne. It's all 5 lanes open. So FDOT is going to be, as part of their there's about $10 million project coming up in a couple of years. They're going to be incorporating this stuff. But they would not have done it were the mayor not sitting on the board and hadn't asked for it. That's the kind of thing that we need to keep FDOT on their toes. And I think I saw Chief Juriga here. One of the things that we used is we showed the accidents on this road. And, well, don't look at the screen. If you were to guess how many accidents you think happened last year on 135th Street, you'd be amazed to find out that it was 376 accidents on 135th Street. 763 cars. 91 of those crashes were with injuries. Now, we're not going to solve everything with this, but we're hoping by putting in the medians and other safety things, this will be improved. But the reason I mention this, though, is that this is something that the police department is working with Public Works, and we're using this kind of data to try to get things done and to find problems and solutions. So this is complete streets, more trees, more crosswalks, better sidewalks, and of course the medians with the turn lanes. And this real quick, I'm just going to mention that this is the MPO. And the MPO is one of these agencies people don't know too much about, but it's very, very important. It's involved in several grants that we receive. We're doing 125th Street downtown. That was through the MPO. We've had several studies done, and the mayor has been pushing very hard for the FEC corridor to come here to North Miami, and that's through the MPO. So I think that covers everything, Mr. Mayor?
That's pretty much.
All right.
Thank you very much, John. No, go ahead.
What is it that they're gonna do, put the median? I'm sorry, Mr. O'Brien.
Yeah.
So what is it that they're gonna do on that side? They're gonna put median and nicely?
Side, they're going to redo the streetscape, the sidewalks.
And
Well, they haven't told us what they're doing yet,
Well,
because
okay.
they're going to
we've
do
just
that.
asked them.
That's them.
And, but they did do something similar on 119th Street pretty recently, where they did a resurfacing.
Yeah,
and then they went back and they improved a lot of the sidewalks. They put in raised medians. But we're going to try to get even a little bit more over here. But it is a long process. And we're all going to be involved. They're going to have public meetings. There will be some fighting, because you're going to be limiting where people can make a left turn. So if you're used to making a left turn into your house, you might have to go up a half a block.
And where is this gonna be? What's the area proposed?
From Northwest 6th Avenue all the way to Biscayne.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is kind of crazy. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Where am I? Okay, I'm on the first page. City events by Miss Timothy.
Good evening, Mayor, Council staff, and members of the public. My name is Cassandra Timothy, Public Information Officer, and I have the pleasure of sharing all of the exciting events coming up in the city of North Miami. Vice Mayor Alex Desome will be hosting a town hall meeting on Thursday, November 10th at 6 p.m. at the Joe Seligson Center. District 4 residents are encouraged to attend the meeting to receive information on recreational programs, community food distribution, register for housing repair assistant, and much more. Join us on Veterans Day for a family fun day in the park as we honor all who have served honorably in the United States Armed Forces. The event will take place on Friday, November 11th at the North Miami Veterans Memorial at Griffin Park at 10 a.m. Please be reminded that North Miami administrative offices will be closed on Friday, November 11th, 2016 in observance of Veterans Day. The Get in Gear community bike ride takes place on the second Saturday of every month. Join your neighbors on Saturday, November 12th at 8 a.m. in the Mocha Plaza. Ride departs at 8:30 a.m. sharp. Come sit under the stars and enjoy a free screening of Finding Dory on Friday, November 18th at 6 p.m. Bring your blankets and lawn chair to Movies on the Lawn at Griffin Park. The Friends of the North Miami Public Library and the Slobodkina Foundation presents a special event and art exhibition to honor Arthur and artist Spur Slobodkina and the 75th anniversary of her children's classic, Caps for Sale. The North Miami Public Library will offer interactive programs and lectures with the traveling exhibit, Caps for Sale and Other Tales, the Art and History of a Storybook, from November 16th to December 12th at the North Miami Public Library. The City of North Miami is the proud platinum sponsor of Brewfest 2016. Enjoy food, music, and lawn games, along with brewing seminars from FIU experts and local brewers on Saturday, November 19th from 1 to 4 p.m. at FIU North Campus. Purchase your tickets today at www.northmiamibrewfest.com. Stay tuned by watching our free governmental programming, NOMI TV, available 24 hours a day on the city's website, www.northmiamifl.gov, like the City of North Miami on Facebook, follow @NOMI News on Twitter, and download the My NOMI mobile app. Thank you.
I think you're missing one. When is the luncheon? Isn't it this month?
17. Chamber lunch.
And the State of the City.
It's the 22nd, and it's at FIU.
The State of the City is at 17.
No, I'm sorry. The State of the City address will take place on Thursday, November 17th at FIU North Coven Center. The address is 3000 Northeast 151 Street. The cost to attend is $40, and it is in conjunction with the North Miami Chamber Luncheon. For tickets, you can call the Chamber at 305-892-6. No, you can call the City of North Miami, 305-895-9888. Thank you.
And also, this is the first of its kind. It's a signature event, City of North Miami Brewfest craft beer that we are starting in North Miami at FIU. And subsequently, we are hoping that in the subsequent years, that event will be held right here in the Mocha Plaza. But what about the luncheon?
I do not have that information, Mayor.
The luncheon, the mayor's business luncheon. It's this month, no?
No.
Oh, December.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm ahead of myself.
Yeah.
God forbid, we plan ahead.
Any city project updates? No? Okay. Hurricane preparedness,
Well, actually, let me very quickly, a little bit larger than hurricane preparedness, just wanted to quickly let the council know that our emergency manager, in conjunction with my office, held a tabletop exercise to kind of get the city departments into the groove of being responsive during emergency situations. The exercise that we participated in was actually a dirty bomb exercise. Actually, 2 explosions, one here, one at police department, and we went through a tabletop exercise. Revealed a lot about where we are with our coup plans. So just wanted to kind of give the council an update that we are making an effort to practice what we preach and be prepared during emergency. So
Okay.
that's it.
This time we'll need a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
third.
We have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the consent agenda. That motion was then seconded by Mayor Smith Joseph. Now your turn.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Item passes with a 5-0 vote. Very good.
Tab C, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the installation and maintenance of speed humps at designated sections of Keystone Boulevard and North Bay Shore Drive, in accordance with the intergovernmental agency agreement executed between the city of North Miami and Miami-Dade County. Further, authorizing the city manager to remove non-conforming speed humps at designated section of Keystone Point, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Mr. Mayor, through you to staff, may I ask for synopsis of what we're doing, please?
John O'Brien, Transportation Planner. So this is an item for the City Council to consider approving the installation of speed humps on the on Keystone Boulevard and on Bayshore Drive. And I've got a brief presentation. This is not something new. People have been asking for traffic calming in Keystone for a long time, going back to 2007 study. We did another separate study, 2014, and then in 2015, as part of the traffic calming plan, that was included. And one of the recommendations in that report was the humps in Keystone and on Bayshore. And as part of that, we were able to lower speed limits to 25 from that original study. Just an overview, and it's very important that people realize that it's Miami-Dade County that has complete control over all signage, all signs, all traffic modification devices on roads. So we need to abide by their criteria for things, and not necessarily what we may think is what's necessary. This is to show the actual results from a couple of the studies, and what you see in red is the most important thing, which is the speed above the 85th percentile. And it kind of just means that it's the traffic engineer's way to say, yes, there is speeding on the road. It is not a perception. It is not one or two cars. It is statistically shown that there is speeding on the road. And that's relatively significant, 6.5 miles over and 8.7 miles over for the two streets. Here I just show that there is a little catch to this. We are having to remove some traffic control devices that they have seen in Keystone and elsewhere. So, and this is something we're going to have to do regardless if we put these new humps. We're going to have to be removing anything that does not conform to Miami-Dade County. And there are, I think guys might be familiar with the virtual humps that when humps weren't allowed, we put in these things that are called virtual humps. Well, they're not allowed either. So we're going to be removing those and putting 4 on Keystone Boulevard and 2 on Bayshore Drive if council approves. It is very important that council approves this because that is part of the county's rules about this. And this is just showing approximately where they're going to go. There's 2 before Croton, 2 after Croton, and on Bayshore a little bit after the gate, and then as you're going around the bend. This is just some of the specifications. These are not the humps that you see that you have to slow down to nearly nothing. They're designed so that you can go over them at 20, 25 miles an hour comfortably. So you won't be stopping and having, rear ending or anything like that. You just can't go fast. And I don't know if you want me to go over that entire summary, but it goes over some of the key points. Probably just open it up to questions if you have any.
public hearing first?
Yeah, at this point
Oh,
of time,
public too,
we'll
yeah.
open public hearing. For anyone who wishes to be heard on this item, please come forward and speak your mind. All right.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Eddie Moliner. I live at 1875 Keystone Boulevard. I have actually worked with Scott on this issue. I've had 2 incidents in which, I've had, unfortunately, near-death experience. One was my daughter, who went to get our little dog and crossed the street and almost got run over, and I believe Councilman Carol was out there. No, I'm sorry. There was another, not Carol, it was another resident that waited because they couldn't communicate with my mother-in-law until I got home to let me know. The other incident was when I was coming east on Keystone Boulevard, and I was coming with a jet ski and a trailer behind me, and I was stopping to be able to make a left, and this red car came super fast, did not want to wait, came into oncoming traffic at the same time that I was making a left. So now he decided that he was going to go into the swell and through the sidewalk and missed the lady with a carriage for about a foot. I mean, after that, and then kept on going. It was a red car. The lady stood there for about 3 minutes because she couldn't believe how close that car passed him, And that's when I got involved, and I go, it's got to stop. It's gotten to the point that every time I go take out my trash can, people are going 50 miles per hour. Those studies, I don't know what they're talking about, 2 miles or 7 miles over. That's nowhere near area. I know it's an average, but I'm actually standing on the middle of the street to tell people to slow down. That is 2.5, and they're looking at me like weird. They're swerving into the oncoming traffic and just accelerating like there's no tomorrow. And then after they pass me, when I'm telling them to slow down, they continue accelerating. I'm an assistant principal. I work traffic duty every day, and the traffic, I worked at Palm Springs North Elementary, and people ignore the 50 miles per hour. I would tell people
Were
to
you guys
slow down.
timing this?
I'm sorry?
Were you guys timing?
My
Yeah,
time.
go ahead.
Okay, well, thank you. And like I said, I appreciate that Scott has actually brought this to up front, and it's something that we need for, the safety of our children and everybody that walks through our Keystone Boulevard. Thank you.
Thank you. Public hearing is still open on the item, but I see no one coming, so public hearing is closed. Now, on the dais, if we have any further discussion, let it be so.
Say something?
Sure, go ahead.
I want to thank staff. We've been working on this for 3 years, trying to get traffic calming devices on Keystone Boulevard. Since we first the neighbors, we've done petitions for this. Since the traffic has gotten bad, Keystone Boulevard and this North Bay Shore are actually drive-throughs from people coming from the north and cutting through Keystone to get over to Miami Beach because it's too difficult to go down to the 123rd Street. We have a commercial operation, I won't say any names, right in our entrance, and they have about 18 trucks that drive through Keystone Point daily on these roads. And I do walk and drive these roads daily, and it is just a nightmare as a drive-through. So I really hope you'll all agree to give us these speed humps, traffic calming devices this evening. Thank you. And I'd make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve tab C. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Adam passed with a 5-0 vote.
Well, Vice Mayor wanted to
Yes,
A
thank
comment.
you, Mr. Mayor. No, not a comment on this one. I wanted to let the record reflect. My vote for tab B is a no. I'm sorry, I thought it was after that. I didn't realize it wasn't a consent. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, go ahead.
Okay, let's be clear about something. You're talking about tab, in the consent agenda, tab B.
Yes, sir.
All right, Alex, unfortunately, that was already voted on. So you can make it clear what your intentions are, but it was voted on already as an item. Now, the city attorney would have to let us know what the procedures would be to see if we can go back and revoke your vote. But at this juncture, revoke your yes vote, because it was
Well-
approved on the consent agenda. So at this point, our record is going to have to reflect in our minutes that it was approved.
Well,
5-0.
what he can do, he can actually bring back the item.
But
Since
the
he wa,
attorney would
he
have
did
to-
vote no, so he can
What-
actually
yeah, what
bring it
would
back
be-
and reopen it. Mm.
Since he was on the prevailing side,
can always
bring the item back up
and
you can revote and then vote
Yeah.
against it.
Okay.
So Mayor, you would let us know when you would like us to re-bring that
This
item,
meeting
and
or
then we
next
can.
What
meeting?
do you
No,
mean?
at this meeting, after we finish this one that we just voted on, then he can bring it back in.
Thank you.
Okay, so just for the record, the tab that we just read, which is tab C, was approved with a 5-0 vote. Motion made by Keys and Galvin. So at this juncture, at the request of Vice Mayor Desiree, we are going to
Open.
we're gonna reopen tab B, and we're gonna read it into the record right now, and we're gonna call a vote.
Well, since it was a consent agenda with 2 items, what he can do first is make a motion to remove it from the consent agenda. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I make a motion to remove tab B from the consent agenda?
You cannot, it's been
No,
voting,
that's
it
what I
passed.
know.
You already passed, you cannot, re-vote again. You cannot bring it back.
Yeah, but he can bring
Say
it back
yes.
because he was on the prevailing.
It
Yeah,
passed,
side.
you cannot bring it back.
Yeah, he was on the prevailing side. So he. Yeah, he can bring it back for this.
Yeah.
If he had been against the
Yeah.
motion, then he wouldn't be able to bring it back.
Yeah.
On the prevailing side, he can bring it back. Actually, the procedure would be to go back to the consent agenda and ask to remove it from the consent agenda.
Yeah.
That's one vote, and then you would vote against on the item.
Okay.
Well, I
Your
was
motion
doing
is,
that.
you're
Can I-
asking for it to be removed from the
Yes,
consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, can I please have tab B removed from the consent agenda?
That's
Okay.
fine with me.
Okay,
Call
so,
a vote on that.
all right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have to,
Mhm.
first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and call, we have a motion made by Councilman, Vice Mayor Desiree, and that motion is to remove tab B from the consent agenda. So let me write this down. Motion to remove tab B from the consent agenda, and that motion was made by Vice Mayor Desiree. Do I have a second to that motion?
Okay.
Mayor?
I have a question.
Okay, no second.
doing
No, no, no,
pass
I'll second
No,
it.
we're gonna,
Yeah, but he has, councilman has a question.
listen, we passed the consent agenda already, it's done. Now you always can bring one item. You may bring the item back as another tab, since you didn't vote, but you already passed.
No, but he can bring it either in the same meeting or in the subsequent meeting. It doesn't matter. He-
It passed. So we all understand what the vice mayor is trying to do.
Mhm.
I just laid out a simple way to do this.
Yeah.
Is just bring it back,
Mhm.
take it
And
out of
vote,
the
and that's it.
and then just revote it.
Yeah.
And then that's it. I don't think it changes anything, but he gets to just put on the record that he was against the item.
Okay, so we do have a motion and a second. The motion was made by Vice Mayor Desiree to remove tab B from the consent agenda. That motion was seconded by Mayor Joseph. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
No.
No,
Yes.
you want to remove it.
This is for
You want to remove it, yes.
See, Mike, Mr. Clerk, don't confuse me.
He's
Yes, I
excited.
do want, I do want to remove
So
it.
just to be clear, to remove tab B from the consent agenda, we have a 5-0 vote.
That's too much reading.
Just
Yes,
to be
sir.
clear. So that vote was a 5-0 vote to remove tab B from the consent agenda. Now that tab B was removed from the consent agenda, I have a motion made
I haven't made a motion.
by,
Now we have to approve tab A by itself.
no. The tab,
No? Okay. He wants to bring tab B back, yes. Mhm.
Okay, so do I make the motion, Mr. Attorney?
You were in your
Mhm.
make the motion.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like to, what motion am I
There's
making?
no motion.
Now you can ask for
You take
tab
it
B
out
to
of
live
the
back in
consent
the.
agenda, now it's an item that you have
Yeah.
to give a name.
So ask,
So-
make a motion to approve,
To
tab,
reconsider
to
tab B.
reject five
To
B,
re-
whatever.
To reconsider tab B,
Yeah.
because now I'm confused. It's like.
No,
the
no, no, no,
attorney
no, no,
confused.
you are right, you are right, okay.
I have a motion made
Mhm.
by Councilman Desiree, motion made motion made by Vice Mayor Desiree
No, you
to
have to read the
reconsider.
tab.
No, not yet,
and the
not yet, because
motion.
we're not there yet, because this is
Oh.
just a motion to reconsider. And then when we're reconsidering it, then there's a other motion, and I'll read the entire tab. So right now, this is the motion. It's a motion made by Vice Mayor Desmay to reconsider tab B. Do I have a second to that
Second.
motion?
Second.
Okay, that motion was seconded by Councilwoman Keys. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Now.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Item passes with a 5-0 vote.
No.
It does. It's a 5-0 vote to
You said-
reconsider
We're gonna
tab B.
Well, to reconsider.
Yeah, 5-0 vote to
Okay.
reconsider. So just for the
Now we're gonna
record,
vote on it.
that motion was made by Vice Mayor Desmay, and that's to reconsider tab B. That motion was then seconded by Councilwoman Keys. Item passes with a 5-0 vote. So now we are on tab B. Your turn.
You gotta read the time.
Okay, we have tab B, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the selection of Keith and Snirnards, PA, as the highest ranked firm to review and update the city's current land development regulations and zoning map as required by state law and in accordance with the request for qualifications, land development regulations, zoning map update RFQ number 37-15-16 as amended, further authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute an agreement for the provision of stated services in the amount not to exceed $90,000 within a completion timeline of 6 months from the city's issuance of a notice to proceed, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. That was tab B. City attorney.
So yeah, now at this time, if there is any presentation from staff, we will entertain it. No, but it's an item.
All right, good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, Alberto Estrade, Purchasing Director, City of North Miami. The item that you have before you is simply a recommendation to approve the selection of the evaluation committee, the firm of Keith and Snars. This was in response to a solicitation that was issued by the City of North Miami in July 8th, 2016. It's a request for qualifications 37-15-16, and the request was requesting proposals from professional consulting firms to assist the city in the update of the land development regulations and zoning map update. There were 5 proposals that were received by the city, and as it's shown in the council report, the evaluation committee ranked each one of these proposers, and the top ranked firm with Keys and Snars. If you have any other questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Okay, before the questions, we'll open it to a public hearing for anyone who wishes to speak on the item to please come to the mic, but
Good evening, everyone. William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. I'm not too sure if the initial objection was toward the particular firm or to having the land development regulations reviewed at all, but either way, I'd like to just express a concern. Some months back, we went through the comprehensive plan process. This is a process that the Planning Commission had more than a year in advance said they wanted to participate on and had great input toward. Every month, there was essentially a request to have some participation and some input. Time went on, and before you knew it, the workshops came and went, the information was ignored, votes took place, and nearly everything from the Planning Commission, as well as much of the public, was completely ignored. It was an absolute waste of money and a moot exercise, unfortunately, in many ways. Still, some properties were highly favored, and we don't know exactly how that happened because it wasn't part of the public discussion, but somehow things happened. In this particular case with the LDRs, I'd like to ask that the council give particular support to whatever firm is supported, hired, that we do give it the proper support, the proper recognition, and that we go ahead in a competent fashion to really make changes in this city. Otherwise, we're just squandering whatever the amount is, whether it's $90,000 more or less, it would be a complete waste. This is an opportunity for the city to go forward and to go forward confidently with great input from many people. Thank you for your consideration.
thank you. Public hearing is still open on the item, but I see no one coming to the mic. I shall close public hearing at this time and come to the dais. Mr. Vice Mayor, since you're the one who reopened the item, we would entertain any type of discussion from you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have no particular question in regards to the selection, but I wanted to reflect that I wanted to vote no for the item on a couple of principal issues, which I've spoken to the manager about. So I don't want to go into detail about it, but I just want the record to show that I'm voting no against that particular item.
All right, so it is my understanding that we're ready to go for a vote?
Yes.
Mr. Clerk?
And can I have a quick
We have
question?
one more question?
This resolution, it's because we need to update based on the comprehensive plan that
Yeah.
been presented to the state, right?
Correct.
That's
So
when we need
this,
to
so this
update
this firm will assist the staff in the city attorney's office with actually drafting the
The land
LDR.
use, yeah.
So that's what it's for.
to update our.
To do the full update, correct.
Any other questions?
I make a motion to approve Keith and Schnarr's to.
I second.
I have a motion and second to approve tab B.
Motion by whom?
A motion by Councilwoman Keys and second by Mayor Joseph,
Smith Joseph.
Mayor Smith Joseph.
You gotta put the name, that's a complete name.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Item pass 4-1.
You know you're doing fine.
Tab F.
Uh,
Discu-
Go ahead.
Discussion and update on CRA interlocal negotiation with Miami-Dade County.
Mayor and council, I wanted to give you all a brief update on the progress of the
Or lack thereof.
or lack thereof, with the negotiations with the Miami-Dade County. For a bit of context, I think this process started back in January 2005 with the engagement of RMA, which is the CRA's
2015.
2015. Throughout that calendar year, the city staff, led by Rasha Kamo and Arthur Sori, and then City Manager Aleem Ghani, held CRA workshops, held a number of meetings with both the chairman of the county commission as well as the county staff. Let's see, when we got into the end of this most recent fiscal year, the city did have an ordinance approved, specifically on September 20th, 2016, extending the trust fund for another 29 years. That ordinance stipulated that the city had to negotiate an interlocal agreement by December 20th of 2016. Immediately following that approval, myself, the CRA staff, county staff, and the chairman staff met to discuss what direction that we would be going in. At that time, a few points were raised that we attempted to work through. The specific point of, I guess, two major points of concern. One, from prior briefings, the mayor's staff had asked that we pass the CRA or pass the interlocal with the inclusion of a $1 million cap on the contribution that the county would be providing to the CRA, keeping the mechanism of the refund of the west side of the city's CRA in place. In discussions with the chairman's office, they asked that we actually consider.
Who's they?
The chairman's office, the chairman specifically,
Okay.
Chairman Monestein. We consider reducing the geographic boundaries of our CRA, more specifically to focus on the commercial corridors. So 7th Avenue, 119th, 125th, West Dixie, Northeast 6th, 135th, the transit area along the rail corridor, and of course, the inclusion of the Biscayne Landing development area incomplete. Pretty much excluding the predominance of all of our single-family residential areas.
In which district?
Actually, all over the city, but
Oh.
Sunkist Grove, you had Center City, the area just to the north of 135th near Enchanted Forest. So all of these areas that had previously had single-family residential areas were to be excluded. We presented I guess, a potential plan to say, all right, he explained that the reason why he was concerned about the residential areas, because in the past, and I think prior to, obviously prior to my administration, but even the previous one, remarked about expenditures related to like beautification of single-family homes, and had a grave concern about that.
What are the concerns?
That
It's okay for him to go along because
those
we
con-
cannot be too vague. We have to be specific.
Right. Well, trying to be as specific as possible. The concerns were about making sure that the investments in the single-family homes were of a nature that would absolutely increase the values for the entire CRA. But I think he was very concerned about us, I guess, some of the beautification expenditures that we had made. So maybe perhaps painting of exteriors of single-family homes, improving the exteriors, I don't know if it's lawns or sidewalk approaches, driveway approaches, things of that nature. So what we propose, he in that discussion, in that particular meeting, we proffered that we'd go back and try to come up with some solutions that were short of actually changing the boundaries. Because the concern at that time was, if we went through the process of changing the boundaries, we were concerned that we may have to redo our finding of necessity, which, as all of you know, takes months to complete. And going through the county process would take several months, and then, of course, we have a deadline of December 20th to get it all done. We had our final meeting on October 27th with the county attorney, the mayor's office staff, and the chairman's staff. And in that meeting, we proposed that we include language in an interlocal that would.
I'm sorry, can you state the names of the individual? When you say mayor's office, chairman's office, I would like for you to state those names.
Okay, specifically.
Because I'm a mayor too, so people might think that you referring to my
county
office.
mayor's office. But
Yeah.
in that October 27th meeting, we're present. Chairman of the County Commissioner, John Monestein, his chief of staff, Kinley Lauriston, legislative aide Elizabeth Owens, second legislative aide Terry Murphy, a representative from the county attorney's office. I forget the attorney's name right now. Shannon Somerset. Thank you, Mr. Attorney. George Fernandez from the Office of Budget and Management that reports to the mayor. Myself, Rasha Kamo, and our CRA attorney, Stephen Zelkowitz, were all present at that meeting. And during that discussion, we proffered putting language that would say we would prohibit certain of those expenditure types that that the chairman was not in agreement with. His rebut was to myself, my staff, and to the mayor's staff. He was not comfortable moving forward with a CRA with the interlocal, unless we actually reduce the geographic boundaries. And so we basically left that meeting, had a discussion, an internal discussion with George Fernandez from the mayor's office and budget and management on procedurally how we would undertake this task. According to the mayor's staff, this procedure has never been done before in the county. And to kind of get into some of the complexities of this, we would have to reform new boundaries and then basically recalculate what our tax base was going back to 2005, 2004, in 2004. So even so we've looked at a new map. We would have to go through the process of actually coming up with survey information to get new legal descriptions, and then pass that information over to the county's, county appraiser's office for them to try to recalculate all of this. I did, and the chairman understood this. I needed to obviously bring this forth to the council, the city, and the CRA board for that matter, to kind of get some level of guidance as to, do you wish for us to continue down this path? Do you want to send communication to the chairman's office in the county? At this point, I'm pretty much stuck with going through the exercise, if you will, short of us having our CRA sunset because we have not complied with the deadline that is in the ordinance.
Am I my understanding that you said after having met with Chairman Jamone's team and his staff, so you came back and redacted some proposed modification, and which was rejected by him?
Basically, we proposed some language changes in the interlocal.
In writing?
Well, he rejected it
No,
verbally.
no. Did you propose it to him in writing?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, you can't do that.
Well, I can't do that, or
No.
you can't do that.
You cannot make any reduction of our CRA plan that we worked on for almost 2 years. We hired a consultant which was going back and forth to county. You cannot make modifications to it without presenting them to us.
Well, the nature of the suggestion that I was making was not to say this has been approved by city council. It was, would you consider something in this frame? It would still have to come back to this board for consideration and approval. So I don't want you to misunderstand. I did not purport that I was saying this is the final deal. This was me saying, what are you willing to work with? Are you willing to do X? Are you willing to do Y? So that I could report back to the board. So that recommendation, if you will, was rejected.
Yeah, but did we give us a mandate to go and start negotiating with the chairman, Jamone's team?
Yes, I
We
do have
did?
that. Yes, you gave me that authority, yes.
Okay.
If you don't mind, Mr. Mayor, Steve Zelquist, the CRA attorney.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify, we did not make any changes to the plan, the redevelopment plan, all right? We are negotiating an amendment to the interlocal agreement. So these were language changes that were being negotiated with the county. It did not change your plan at all that you all have approved already. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Okay.
Are we opening up for?
No.
No,
Can we, it's a discussion, okay.
Discussion here.
I have a couple of questions for you, cause, but let me just go at it. Mr. Manager, you mentioned that there was a first meeting. I know you gave us the final meeting date, October 27th. What was the date prior to that? Cause I'm trying to work something in my mind trying to put my mind around
So
the time
that first meeting was October the 14th.
Okay, so between October 14th and October 27th, that was the back and forth between you and staff, because I know Ms. Owens is here, right, from Commissioner Monestein's office. Nobody is there from his office?
She
Okay.
did indicate that she would be here, but I
Okay.
did not see her in the audience.
Because I don't want it to be where it's between our staff, because you made some damaging, not damaging, but some very, it's basically you saying that to take out the residential area, which unless, the problem is the communication, and I'll say the communication really has been between the county and us, and I don't know how the communication could be better, because I know you had a conversation with me regarding the final meeting, which I was taken back by because I didn't really understand the back and forth of it when you're saying that the nature of the residential component of the CRA, that the commissioner would like for it to be removed from our CRA, which that would be in conflict with the county-owned rules, because I think it's my understanding from the county rule, 10% of the whatever return, the TIF needs to be spent on
Housing
residential,
initiatives.
on housing initiatives. So perhaps it's a miscommunication, because if it's their own rule, you're saying unless we get some clear, I wish that, someone from the commissioner's office would be here. At least we would get some clear understanding, because I don't want it to be, because you're making some stark, I want to keep it nice. You're basically saying that he's saying to take out all the homes within the CRA
Or
framework.
large portion of the residential, but let me be clear, I did send
You turned it on?
a communication.
What happened?
You just
I
got
did
up
send
and
a
that was it.
communication to the chairman's office, to the chairman, all of his staff. I blind copied each of you, where I can reconfirm that's what the request was and asked if they would rebut. I did receive a phone call today from his legislative aide, Elizabeth Owens, and she did indicate that she would be attending the meeting. We exchanged some email communications throughout the day.
So you did invite the chairman's
absolutely
office
invited
to
the
be here
chairman.
tonight?
Yeah, absolutely, I did.
Okay.
Just so, and I want to make one point down the road that you're thinking, Vice Mayor, and that is, keep in mind, between myself, Deputy City Manager, and CRA Director, we have been negotiating with the county since early summertime. So this is
And
not just in the last
No,
2 weeks.
I know, and I just wanted to be clear that your negotiation was not with county staff without the commissioner's office. It's always been, when you're saying, although his office is part of county staff, but I want to be clear, each of the meetings, because that all three parties involved, the chairman responsible for putting the item on the agenda, the mayor's office, however, the mayor's office got in there, and our representative, meaning you guys.
So let me lay this out a little bit better for you. The mayor's office, if you will, is the county administration.
Got it.
We are mandated to deal with this matter via the county administration. Just like if I'm negotiating on behalf of this city, I, city manager, and my administration is responsible for letting each of you know where the process is, where things are going, as I'm doing now. The mayor's staff has the same mandate to let their commissioners know where they are with regards to negotiations and things. On top of that, we made a direct effort to communicate directly with the chairman's office, and we have been
Back and forth.
Yeah, we've been back and forth. So there's no, I don't want you to think, oh, we didn't talk to the chairman's office. We absolutely have been in communications, and that's not.
But did
I'm
he
not
s-
saying they're blocking. It's just.
No, but did
Yeah.
he say why he would want to remove the residential component, especially the fixing of houses? Because if you, well, I need to know what's the justification, because if you look at my particular district, I mean, most of the homes in that area would need some type of, well, all of them would be excluded. That's number one. So let's not be frank, let's just be real about it. So there has to be a reasoning. So that's what I'm just trying to get to because you've been to the meetings. We haven't had communication with the commissioner's office. Are we entitled to have a meeting would that consider, that's not sunshine, would it be?
Well,
We could meet with him?
You can meet with him, and what I wanted to say is, I recommended that and this is the very reason why I asked the manager to send a letter to the commission, because what I didn't want him to do is to try to explain what was on the commissioner's mind. or
Okay.
What was on the chairman's mind. So I've asked the manager not to try to speculate what
What-
his
what-
decision is,
okay.
or why he's making the decision. We offered them an opportunity to come and speak to you all on their own, and they declined, or they're not here. So all we can tell you is what the facts
They
are
didn't,
as we
excuse me.
know it.
I haven't talked, he did not decline because I spoke to him before
Okay, as
before I
said,
came here.
they're
and I
not
will
here.
give my
I don't know if they declined or whatever happened, but they're not here. So I don't want I've asked the manager not to speculate on whatever their reasons are for what they're doing.
Okay, because, unless I hear directly from the commissioner, which I haven't, or his office or his chief of staff, I really would like to know why would he want the people, of the city or whatever the case is. There has to be and I know the commissioner, so that's why I was trying to get at, is there a miscommunication somewhere? Because I know the communication has not been perfect with us and our staff, so I just don't want it to be the same situation where when we do meet, there's, that's what I just want. I want to be careful and just be.
Again, as the manager told you, and I think you all were copied on the letter was pretty specific on what we were coming here to tell you all tonight.
Yes.
And so, I think if any of you all had received a similar letter, you may have made the effort to come out and talk on that letter. I don't know, I can't speculate on why they're not here, but all we can tell you is you saw the letter, you know what was communicated to them. Why they're not here, why they're not explaining, we don't know, but it was communication, there was no miscommunication.
Well, again, I saw the letter. I received the letter. What I'm trying to say, and I'm trying to keep it as much as benefit of a doubt. I don't know. I don't know why nobody's here. My request to you or to his staff, I thought they were here, is we need to meet with him, and that needs to happen soon. Because if you saying that he want my entire district out of the CRA, the residential component, I need to know why. There's no sugar-coated or nothing else. That's just my request. I'm not getting, the run around or this and that. I don't know. And the fact that I don't want it to be where it's June 20th, where it's December 20th, and we don't have an agreement, because I'm definitely not for removing it, but unless we talk to him and get an open communication, it doesn't make any.
Well, again, that's why I'm having this
Okay.
public communication.
All righty, we got it.
Yes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to just go 2 steps back. Our CRA, we've been working with this with our professionals, RMA, for many months. We came to an agreement, we submitted it to the county, they came back, they wanted a lot of changes. I think all the changes we made were in compliance with what they asked for. The county just revised what their guidelines were, and I think we met all of their guidelines, including the 10% affordability. Everything they asked for, I think we were the first ones to actually agree with everything they wanted. They came back to us. We had a meeting, the CRA meeting, about a month or 2 ago, and they said, go ahead, we voted to extend our CRA. We knew that there was just a little bit of tweaking that our manager was going to do to finalize the agreement, and what's come back to us now is not a little bit of tweaking. It's a major change. They've gone back to something that I will always keep badgering. I will not ever vote to take 95% of the Solomia tax base and put it into the CRA. And they've gone back to that, and I don't understand why they've taken out a huge residential section, partly in mine, but taking Sunkist out. I still would like to see our residential there for the need, not for beautification, but there are people we need to have some CRA money to help people fix up their homes. So I think what they've come back with is a total difference of what they told us and what we relied on when we voted last month or 2 months ago to extend the CRA.
Councilwoman, let's get it straight. If this item goes before as a matter of fact, it cannot be put on the agenda unless the chairman Moniz team decides to put it on the agenda. It is not they. If this item goes on the agenda this week or next week, you will have at least 12 votes on it. I can guarantee you that. So it's not they. So we have to be clear on this. So, as you said, I'm going to repeat some of the truth, that you just stated, and I'm going to do it in a way of questioning. We hired our RMA, right?
Correct.
Of course, you were not yet our manager, but you are aware of the facts. When did you hire a RMA?
That was January 2015.
For those of you who may not know, RMA happens to be a group of consultants who specialize in CRA creation and CRA restructuring. And the date of hire is when again?
January 2015.
What was their scope of service when we hired them?